We are just going to continue going straight through the rainbow, and we're moving on to orange. So I want to welcome you to my channel, or welcome you back. My name is Alyssa, and I am color swatching through all of the rainbow that I can. And you're going to see my arms get nice and stained and sparkly and all of that. So yeah, we are moving on to orange. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, then you can go check out the playlist. I also have done this before, but my collection has changed. So I like to kind of, well, I guess 2 years ago, I did this exact type of thing, but my collection has changed a lot from then. And last year I was doing more like the weird in-between colors, like teal and shifty shades and things like that. So you can also watch all of those. All right, so with orange, I do have a good bit of orange. I'm gonna start over here. I have from this set of singles, this orange here. So I like to start with the matte eyeshadows first. I'm gonna go now into this palette. This shade I actually swatched. This is my Vivid Pigment set of colors. I have this with my reds, but it also kind of works with the oranges. And then this shade too, it's kind of brown, kind of orange. With my, I'm gonna next actually go over here. With these singles, I'm gonna use this orangey shade, but again, it might be more brown. Okay. Some of these are so creamy as they go on. And so yeah, some of them are looking a little bit brown, but a little bit orange. Is just kind of, how do you see the colors? And I do actually clean off my fingers between, but they're just getting stained and it's okay. Next, I'm gonna go into my Sickly Sweet, and I have a few oranges in here. So some are more just like a pastel. That almost could have been a pinky shade, to be honest. And then I've got these two. So we've got 4 right there. Although, like I said, this is just so pale. That could have almost been like a pastel pink. But I guess if you think about orange, it could go more in a pinky direction or more in a yellowy direction. So this is more in the pinky, that's more in the yellowy. If yellowy is a word, All right, so those are more pastel ones. In my Prados palette right here, I've got a few oranges to try. And this is where you can kind of start to see that some of them end up being almost in that pink category or brown, I feel like, or even a little bit red. Like this almost looks a little red. And I did not swatch it with my red, so that is on me. All right, so these are more yellows, but I do have, this one is definitely more brown, so I'm gonna skip that one, but these two I will do. And I'm also gonna do from my Dots palette, this right here is a nice orange. And can I finish? Oh, this finger I'm going to use over in my Dollhouse palette. I have an orange there. And so it's right there. And it's actually very, maybe not. It almost looked like that one. All right, we start to run out of room, which is almost surprising then how many oranges I have, because I thought I was going to have more pinks, but I might have more oranges. Because I do still have some more in my Citrus Punch palette right there. So let me go ahead and do those. I'm gonna do 1, 2, and I never ended up swatching these. I guess they could go, like they're kind of in between pink and orange. And I'm gonna go ahead and do these on the side here, just so that my upper arm is not getting so, like it just gets a little ridiculous. So these are all of my orange matte eyeshadows. Now if we put the shimmers on my other arm, okay, I'm gonna start right here with my Sickly Sweet. Then I have this Golden Peach shade from Sydney Grace, which sometimes can look red, but I always think of it more as orange. I also have this coppery one from Sydney Grace. It doesn't have a shade name. And then also from Sydney Grace, over here I have, you can't see it. It's called Tiger Tail. And some of these, I don't know if they still have or not. Okay, so I'm going to start with these four. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to help myself a little bit. These are done. This is that. I'm going to go ahead and from Fairy Tale Fairies, this shade kind of ends up almost orangey for me. So just to kind of show, because there's so much gold with it, but it does have that pink base. Then for shimmers, again, I have these three orange. I'm not going to do this one actually. So let's just stick with those two. And then we have over here, this is a shimmer. And again, it's almost pinky, but it kind of goes orange. Okay, then in my Dollhouse palette, I have right here, this is an orange. This one, I guess I could have done it in the pinks, but it's almost kind of an orangey one. So I'm gonna do that one too. And I think you can see, it's like a pink orange. And then what's interesting about these is they don't really they look different than how they are on the eye. So none of them, like this looks orange, but it's actually more like has a blue. So I'm not gonna do that one. And I am gonna do this one again. I did it with the reds, but just to show that for me, I think it's more orange. So it's a blue base, but you really see a lot of that orange. And I'm going to consider that good for all of my orange eyeshadows. Some other shifty shades I have might kind of work with this. Like I have some iridescence, but I think this is pretty good. And then we have all with the mattes. So maybe I have more oranges than pinks. I haven't counted them up. You could always do that if you want. But this is a lot of oranges. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing this. And I want to thank you for watching. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!